Hey guys, welcome back to Dear Emma, which is different to Ask Emma because Ask Emma is full of sassy, rude stuff, and Dear Emma is where I try and answer your genuine questions and give my advice on things. I would say, as I think I said in the last one, I'm not professional, and any of this advice should just sort of be taken kind of lightly and don't sort of see it as like, my advice may not be the best, but I will give my opinions on stuff and how I would cope with these situations, but again, might be wrong. A lot of these situations I haven't been through. So anyway, enough of the disclaimer, let's get on with it. Dear Emma, my mother was brutally murdered 7 years ago and it's still as vivid as day, and people have said behind my back it's about time she got over it, it was ages ago. Do you think that after 7 years I should have gotten over it and moved on? Because I don't feel I can. Nothing will be the same again. I am 14. Well, I can certainly say this is something that I have not been through. But don't ever let anyone dictate your grief. Firstly, you are allowed to grieve for however long you want and in any way that you want, so long as you're not like murdering other people. And you know, I'm genuinely really sorry to hear about your mum, especially she was taken when you were 7. That is something that I can't imagine myself ever getting over, and there must be so many questions that you have. And obviously I don't know how the horrible tale ended, but in terms of grieving, I would say that it takes a lot of time, and those people telling you to get over it and stuff, they didn't have your mother as their mother, and only you could really have that bond as a mother and child, and they should not be telling you to get over it, and they certainly shouldn't be saying behind your back that you should be getting over it. Those people are horrible. What happened to your mum, and essentially what happened to you, changes someone for the rest of their lives. Your life will never be the same as it was when you were 7. Because you've gone through something that no human should ever have to go through, and I'm really sorry to hear that. Now, this might sound extreme, but this is something that I would definitely contemplate when you're a bit older, perhaps. I don't know if the person who brutally murdered your mum was convicted, but I would definitely try and find a way through the system of talking to that person. And I think the only way, and this is weird for me to say because I'm usually a very vengeful person, I think the only way to move forward with it is to forgive the person who murdered your mum. And I know that sounds completely bizarre, and you think, well, why would I ever forgive that person? But the only way you can start to accept things is to forgive that person, whether they are actually sorry or not, to forgive them and say to them, I forgive you for what you did. And you have to mean it. And like I said, I feel weird giving advice on this because this is something that I have never been through. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Why are you texting me now? I'm trying to talk about something very serious. There are so many charities and helplines that will listen to you when you need it. There are tons of websites where you can actually just talk to people who have been through these situations, even people that haven't been through those situations, and you can just talk with other people because I feel like talking about these things rather than trying to keep everything bottled up will help you sort of accept that this is part of your life now. And it shouldn't have to be, don't get me wrong, it shouldn't have to be a part of your life, but the fact is, it is, and you have to try and find a way to move forward. I have younger friends who come to me for advice when they're upset and stuff. I give them all the advice I can think of, but they never listen to it and turn around and say, oh, but blah, 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 blah. And it's starting to stress me out because when I have no more advice, I tend to ignore them because I don't know what to say. And then I feel super bad, and I don't want to sound rude to them and lose them as a friend. What should I do? Pretty simple. You give your advice, and if they don't take it, that's completely their fault. And if they say, oh, well, you know, yeah, I appreciate the advice, but this, and this, say, okay, well, I tried. You've got my advice. Do what you want with it. Take it, leave it. That's my 2 cents. That's what I would do. And then draw a line under it. And when that person doesn't listen to you and then needs more help, give you advice. And if they don't take it, again, do the same thing and just keep saying to them, right, well, that's my advice. That's all I can do. Because if you're trying your best, the thing is you're giving your advice. And I feel like that's all you can really do in this situation. If they don't want to take that advice, even though they're asking for it, then there's nothing else you can do. You just have to sort of sit back and wait for them to, you know, I mean, to be honest, maybe they would be better off sometimes when they don't heed your advice, but there will be times when they definitely should have listened to your advice. And I don't know where I'm going with it, but just give your advice and draw a line under it and say, that's it, right, I've done my bit. What do I do when I'm living in an environment where my mum and dad are constantly arguing and my mum is miserable while kind of pushing that misery into others, and with a dad who's constantly pushing anger out with financial problems? How do I cope with a broken family that's still trying to plod along acting as if everything is okay? My parents went through a similar thing when I was 12. My mum would spend a lot of money, like almost all of the money that she would earn. My dad would get really, really angry about it, and basically they would argue like every night. And to this day, like they deny that they ever argued, but like I heard them through the floorboards always shouting at each other, and it's a horrible, horrible thing. And it's especially worse when they won't accept that there are problems and they try and act normal. When my parents separated, like they now get on better than like they ever did. But unfortunately, you don't control your parents' marriage. And I would perhaps say, if you have the guts, try and confront both of them at the same time and say, look, I can hear you arguing. It's negatively impacting my life. And whether or not you have disagreements, like, is there a way you guys can talk it out or have therapy or something that doesn't involve my eardrums being burst or something? I mean, the thing is, I think I tried that with my parents once. I told them both to shut up when they were arguing at each other, and they turned to me and went, you shut up, and then that was the end of that. As well as trying to talk to them both together, I would say it's very important to talk to them both separately as well. Find out why your mum is miserable. Talk to your dad about his anger and why he's so frustrated. And just try and see both sides, and sometimes try and act like the middleman without getting too involved, if that makes sense. Because if you start saying, oh, well, mum, dad said this, and dad, mum said this, then they're going to start arguing more, and then you're going to get the blame, and it will have an end. Whether it's good or bad, the arguing will come to an end. But it's a really, really bad situation, and I'm sorry you have to go through that. How do you deal with losing a friend? Oh boy, I've lost a lot of friends through my mistakes and their mistakes, and one of the main causes of losing a friend is stubbornness. Like either you or your friend is too stubborn to apologize and admit they were wrong and just put their cards on the table and sort it all out and stuff. That's the main cause of it, like not the actual thing that happened, but just someone refusing to apologize and admitting they're wrong. But if you can't do that and that friendship is too far gone, it's going to be a grieving process because you're basically mourning something. It's something that you did have and you could rely on, and it's suddenly not there anymore, and it's certainly not easy, especially when things like remind you of them, and it's horrible. But time heals everything. Try and talk to new people. I know it can be very, very daunting. Try not to let any rumors get to you if your ex-friend starts talking about you. But mostly try and just be civil with the person that you've fallen out with. Like, there is absolutely no time on this earth for being angry with people. I've been angry at people for years sometimes, and it's just a complete waste of time and energy. So just try and fix that friendship if you can, but otherwise it's gonna take time and it's gonna hurt, but you will be okay in the end of it. How can I raise my self-esteem? I can't find anything good about myself. I don't think I'm pretty. I'm definitely not thin, but I can't find anything good about myself. Thanks, Emma. Okay, so I spoke about this in a Feel Good 101 quite a while ago about how to feel better about yourself and why looks don't actually matter. But in terms of not finding anything good within yourself, personality-wise or appearance-wise, there's some sort of underlying cause that has made you feel that way, whether it's bullying or parents not telling you you're good enough or anything like that. It's very, very important to find the root cause of these issues rather than just trying to tackle the issues alone, because otherwise they'll always come back to you and you'll always try and change something about yourself. But also, it's a case of growing into yourself and accepting yourself, and that does take a long time. Like up until like a year ago, like I wanted to change my nose and my boobs and my butt and everything. And I hated the fact that I was so opinionated, and I tried being quiet, but I couldn't do it because I'm a loudmouth biatch. But now I've come to accept those things about me. I do have small boobs, and my nose is very just bleh, and my butt is not that great. I've just accepted those things, but there are good things about me, and there are good things about you as well. Make a list of all the things that you don't like about yourself, and then go through each one and find something positive within that. For instance, say you don't have a big butt. Airplane seats are never going to be a problem for you. You don't have big boobs. You're not going to get backache when you're 45. You don't have any friends? You don't have any responsibilities to anyone else. Just, I know it sounds really bizarre, but you have to try and find the positives in the things that you don't like, and then eventually they will turn into things that you do like about yourself, and it will be easier to find positives within everything if you train yourself to look for the good things first. Another thing that I've tried to do over the last year is every time I walk past someone in the street, whether it's London or whether it's local or at events and stuff, I look at someone walking past and I try to find something really nice about them. Whether it's like what they're wearing or their hair or their eyes or their smile, just something positive. And I know that everyone I met at Sitsi last week will tell you that when they came to say hi, I said something nice about them and I genuinely meant it. Like, I have taught myself to see the positive in other people, and now I see the positives within myself as well. I promise you, no one is thinking as harshly of you as you are of yourself. The anxiety that you had is what I have. I get so anxious when my parents go out and they're 10 minutes late home, and I try to ring them but they don't answer. My mom and dad don't know about my panic attacks, and I'm so scared to tell them in case they think I'm being stupid. Please help. I didn't actually tell my dad about my anxiety until like late last year, I think. Firstly, because I thought that he would think I was stupid, and second, because I thought that he would think that it was his fault and he had done something wrong, which is definitely not the case. It is just a case of a chemical imbalance within your brain that is triggering this unnatural reaction to something that is quite ordinary and shouldn't actually cause panic attacks. I don't think I've made an entire video about my anxiety issues, but if I have, do let me know, but I will make one if I haven't. It got to the point where I actually went to go and see a therapist without telling my dad. And I got put on this medication called citalopram, which helps with anxiety, and I told my dad it was because I was feeling depressed. I did not want to admit that it was to do with anxiety, but there was this one time when he didn't pick up the phone, like after ringing him like 10 times, and I just yelled at him. And said, Dad, I really, really freak out when you don't answer the phone. Anything could have happened to you. I get these sweats, I get nervous, and it all just came out, and I got really upset, and then he was just like, oh, okay. And like, he didn't really get it. Like, never ever expect people to understand what anxiety is if they have never had it. It's the most bizarre, horrible thing. But it may be a case of your parents telling you that you're being stupid because they don't understand it. But don't let that stop you going to the doctors and telling them about your separation anxiety and seeing if there's anything that you can do about it. I want to move school because lots of people bully me. There's so much pressure in that school to do well in exams, and I'm just so unhappy there. How can I talk to my parents about it? Okay, I don't know how to break this to you, but there is pressure to do well in exams in every school. Because if you don't do well in exams, they don't get funding, and that school gets shut down, and people lose their jobs. And that is how schools work. The moving school thing though, I would not recommend moving school to get away from bullies unless the bullying is like really physically severe and really, really causing you like emotional torment. Because starting again in a new school is so much harder than it sounds. It sounds like, oh, well, I'll be with new people who don't know me and I get to start afresh. But the thing is, if you move to a new school, everyone else already knows each other, and it will just be a case of you being a stranger to everybody. And a lot of the time people pick on the new people. And I know that sounds really, really sad, but it is the truth. But definitely talk to your parents, like tell them everything that you wrote down in that comment. Tell them you're being bullied. Tell them it's really upsetting you. Tell them about your worries about your exams. But definitely try and get help for the bullying, because ignoring it doesn't actually make it that much better. How do I stop caring about what other people think about me? Get older. Sorry. When you're younger, you tend to really care what people think, and social cliques are the most important thing in school. And when someone says they don't like you, you're desperate to find out why. And there are times when I check my Twitter indirects because I still somewhat care what people think. But with time, you honestly do just stop caring, because you get a gutful of it. You just get really fed up of hearing the same old things. And at the end of the day, if someone doesn't like you, how badly is it really going to affect your life? Unless that person is definitely going to be your future husband/wife, and they're definitely a millionaire and will be for the rest of their lives, is it really going to matter that much if they don't like you? I wish I could tell myself this every time I feel bad, but focus less on the people who don't like you and just put all of that energy into the people you know do like you. There are people who like you, and the less you focus on trying to be what people want you to be, the more you'll be liked for being yourself. Where was that advice when I was 13? I'm thinking of shaving my head for charity, but I'm quite scared about it. I tend to get bullied a lot, and I'm afraid that it will get worse when I do this. Any advice? If you choose to shave your head for charity, the good that you are doing will far outweigh any horrible things that people say about you afterwards. Like at school, I had really, really short pixie hair just because I really wanted it, and people would be like, oh, you're so bald, oh, lesbian. Like that was the insult of the century, being called a lesbian. But if you do something like that for charity that is so selfless and helps so many people, you can literally stand there in front of those people and just hold your head high and say, yeah, well, I've positively impacted someone else's life through my selfless act, and all you've done is stand there and point your finger at me and gone, ha ha, who wins? I mean, you might get beaten up for saying that, but my point is you're already better than them because you don't bully people the way that they do, but you're going to be even more better than them when you shave your head for charity. I get spots mainly because I wear makeup, but I can't not wear makeup because I'm too insecure about people seeing my spots. What should I do? It's all about skincare routines and letting your skin breathe. Firstly, I'd recommend this stuff. Not spun, alright? News journalists thinking that I'm paid to say everything. It's micellar cleansing water. It doesn't have to be by Garnier, but basically it's just water with this sort of weird chemical in it that breaks down all makeup on your face. You put it on a cotton pad, it's all done. Don't use baby wipes or any of those makeup wipes because it just leaves this oil on your skin. Not smart. Use tons of face masks. Moisturize when your skin feels dry. And just get into a routine of doing the same things with the same products every day for a little while, see how that does, and then if that's not working, try something else until you find something that is making your skin break out less. Also try makeup that has that salicylic acid in it, like that Boots 17 foundation thing that I'm always recommending. Just anything like that because that helps with spot breakouts. Just exfoliate and cleanse and moisturize and just don't wear makeup unless you absolutely have to. I totally get that you wear it when you're out because you're insecure. That is your choice and I respect that completely. But when you're at home, don't wear any. If you're going to the shops and you know no one's going to see you, just try one time challenging yourself to not wear makeup or just wear less makeup. Try instead of covering your whole face in foundation, like using little bits of concealer or just like foundation that matches your skin tone just on little tiny areas that really, really need it. And just wear less if you can. Just let your skin breathe because that's how spots go. Kind of like just letting your skin breathe more because otherwise your pores will clogged up and then mess and gunk and yeah. I don't know why, but I can't tell anyone. I know how I'm feeling and I have a constant feeling of dread in my stomach and I'm sometimes sick for no reason. Any theories? You probably have generalized anxiety. It's a condition where you feel anxious for no apparent reason. There will be some sort of underlying cause most of the time, but it's a medical condition, it's serious, and you should go to the doctor about it. How do you motivate yourself to do things? I'm a very defeatist person and often end up just giving up, which makes me feel more and more depressed. It's past the point of not just being able to enjoy the things I used to love doing, and it's becoming more that I don't want to get out of bed and face the day or talk to people or do anything anymore. That is a sure sign of actual clinical depression. I'm not a doctor, but I would definitely say go to a doctor and try and seek therapy. But in terms of being motivated, I would say that not being motivated is a symptom of having depression. Try and conquer the depression and then the motivation should start coming back to you. If not, try techniques after you've sorted out the depression. I'm always so tired and I don't know why. Sometimes I'll get enough sleep and just have a really good sleep, but I'm still always so tired and I don't know why. I'm thinking of getting into a better sleeping routine, but I'm not sure if it will help. Any advice? I got some advice for you. I feel like so many people have said in the comments of my chronic fatigue syndrome video that the symptoms match and they think they have chronic fatigue syndrome, but what you have commented there is a very, very big symptom of chronic fatigue syndrome. But I would look into things such as anemia, vitamin B12 deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, could be things to do like potassium levels, things like that. But go to the doctor, describe those symptoms that you have, and try and get help for it. But if you have these symptoms and you're not even trying a good sleeping routine, you're fighting a losing battle. You absolutely have to have a good sleeping routine if you are gonna stand any chance of not being that fatigued in the morning. I go to bed at 11:30 every night and I wake up at 8:30 every morning. It's just the right amount of sleep for me. I wake up feeling less fatigued. I'm on medication because I went to the doctor, had blood tests, etc., and all that stuff. Just go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Emma, I also have a very high metabolism and it makes me struggle at school because I have no boobs or a bum and it's lowering my self-esteem. Can you help me? The only thing that matters at school is your education. and not really your self-esteem. I know that self-esteem is very important, and having no self-confidence can feel awful, but don't let your lack of bum affect your grades. I don't know if you mean that you're being teased. I was never teased for like having a flat chest or flat butt, but it did affect me. Like, I wanted a boob job up until like last year, but I've just accepted that the way I am is perfectly fine, and I have someone that likes me the way I am, and you will also find that. But first, you need to start appreciating what you do have as opposed to what you don't have, and feel the way about yourself the way you want someone else to feel about you. I have to pick my options for GCSE soon, and I want to do drama and music, but my parents want me to do something academic because drama should just be a hobby. I'm doing science, but that's not really what I want to do in the future. Drama's the only thing I really enjoy, and if I don't do it, I'll probably end up doing a job that I don't really like, but it earns me lots of money. What should I do? You already know the answer. You already completely know the answer of what to do. I'll tell you one of my biggest regrets. I went to college when I was 16 and I took A-levels, and when I was looking through the prospectus of what courses I could take, I really wanted to take one called music technology, which was to do with like studying production and learning how to record things, and I didn't take it because I thought, well, I'm never going to use it, and I took A-level maths instead. I dropped A-level maths after a year because I got a D. Even though I was good at it at GCSE, I did not care about it at A-level, and I wasted a year where I could have done music tech. And I wish, to this day, I really, really wish I'd taken music tech, because think about what I could do with that now that I am pursuing this music dream that I've had like all my life. You absolutely have to do the things that you want to do. You have to. Because there's no point in getting a degree or a grade in something you don't care about. Because even if you got a job in that field or something you don't care about, you're probably going to get fired because you don't care about it. Or you're going to be very, very unhappy / depressed because you don't care about your job. I thought I was on my period until I didn't bleed for months, then it started again, but normally this time, is that natural? If you're just starting out with your periods, then yes, it's perfectly natural. Like, I think that happened to me. I think I bled once and then I just didn't for a year, and then I did, and then it was all fine. But this question was 7 months ago, so hopefully it's all worked out since then. But yeah, it's natural. When you first have a period, your body does not know what's going on. It is irregular as hell. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 3 months now, and he's wanting to get intimate. I know he would never push me to do something I'm uncomfortable with, but I don't want to disappoint him. How do I know if I'm ready to lose my virginity? Well, it does differ for everybody, and I do not want to say to you, you're ready when this happens, because if that thing happens and you're still not ready, it's going to come back on me, and you're going to be like, well, you said I was ready. Only you can know when you're ready. But I have one certain rule that I would tell my younger sister, and if I would tell her, I would tell you. If you can sit down on the edge of the bed with the person you're dating and talk about all methods of contraception, erections, sex toys, lubrication, sexually transmitted diseases, pregnancy, childbirth, child support, all of these adult things, and you can do all of that without giggling, without getting embarrassed, without the other person giggling or getting embarrassed, saying, oh, shut up, no, I don't want to think about it, oh. If both of you can do that, hooray, congratulations, you're both emotionally mature enough to have sex. Also, you have to love and respect each other, but bottom line, you have to be mature enough for it. And when I first did the thing, I was definitely not mature enough. I would never have been able to do that. And I regret how young I was and with the person that it was with. So I would say when you're comfortable talking about all of those things that need to be talked about when it comes to sex, because sex is a natural thing, but it's not just something that you should do that's funny and embarrassing and all that stuff. Okay, well, my camera battery is about to die, and I'm going to take that as a sign as the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, leave them down in the YouTube comments below. In the form of a question, I will try and censor out your name and your profile picture and stuff. I do only do it publicly because every time I set up an email address, I get stalkers. So I would prefer if it was just YouTube comments. I'm sorry. Hopefully that's okay with you guys. But thank you so much for watching. If this helped you in any way, do give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And hopefully this video helped you out a lot. We're helping each other. That's good. So yes, questions down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!